What's going on, guys? Welcome back to No Reserves Radio. I am your host, Rehn. With me, as always, Angelo and Austin. We are continuing our summer of no basketball, where we still discuss basketball. This week, we're going to be ranking the shooting guard position. If you've been following along for the last 3 weeks, we have been going position by position, ranking our opinions. These are subjective opinions on who were the best at each position last season. To be honest, it's not exactly scientific. We each kind of have our own rubric, how we're judging it. Some of us are including playoffs in our decision, some of us are not. So yeah, this is just a fun little get together, and hopefully no one listening at home gets too mad that we leave off their favorite players. It's also worth noting before we get into it, I do like to bring this up early on in the episode. We did have a limit on things like games played or positions at that, or games played at that position. So if we leave someone off, check out one of the other episodes, because likely they're on it. And if they're not, they didn't play enough games, more than likely. So with that being said, let's get into the question of the week. Austin has it for us this week. What is it?
So, this is the question. Which of your 5 senses are the strongest?
Not my sense of smell anymore. Ever since I had COVID, I actually can only smell good smells, which I guess is a good problem to have. Probably my hearing. I grew up a musician. I have kind of perfect pitch. Like, I can hear it within, like, if you were to play an A flat, I could tell you it's an A. I wouldn't be able to tell you it's an A flat, but I would be able to, like, tell you it's an A.
You can get close.
So probably my sense of hearing.
Okay. Mine is actually sense of smell. My nose is just really sensitive. There was actually a fun little story at work one time. There was a rat that had passed away in the walls.
Ew.
And I was the one that had to use my nose to find it. And I did.
The super sniffer.
Super sniffer. Angelo, what about you, buddy? Which of your 5 senses are the strongest?
They all suck.
Before we continue, did y'all hear that?
Hear what?
It sounded like the recording dropped out and came back in.
That was Angelo unmuting himself.
Oh, see, this is
Wait, you can hear that?
Apparently, sometimes. Apparently, I didn't know that. I thought it was the recording dropping and coming back in.
That was weird.
If you didn't hear it, then sure. So all of your senses suck, Angelo?
I mean, yeah, pretty much. My hearing is pretty bad. I wear glasses for my sight. A touch? It's probably touch. And, you already know my court vision, so, And I can't smell anything, basically.
So touch by default is what I'm hearing.
That's what I'm hearing.
Touch by default.
That's a sad one to have. Basketball news, because one of them is not necessarily NBA news. So the first one we'll touch base on, because we're going to talk about this guy in this episode, I assume. Jaylen Brown signed the largest contract in NBA history, $304 million. So I've got 2 things. One, I do want to talk about that. But 2, who do you think's going to sign the 307? Like, who's going to get the 307 mil?
Shay.
So, for those at home, we have this, like, inside joke that's been going on for God knows how long, about the number 307. I'm not going to elaborate on it, because that would be like a whole bonus episode explaining that. But no, I'm interested to see who's going to get the 307. It's going to be someone like Ja, just to spite me. So it'll be Ja and Trey will both get 307. I'm calling it now.
Gosh, we should just stop after that.
Yeah, that's the end of basketball. So, how do you guys feel about this contract locking Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum long term in Boston and tying up a metric ton of salary cap into two players?
Overpaid.
Overpaid?
See, Jalen's a great player, right? You all know. I think everyone in here likes Jaylen Brown. Like he's
Yeah,
kind of hard not
I
to
like
hate.
him as a basketball player. I'll say that.
Fair, fair. But I don't think him getting like what? It was like 60 million, right? A year?
Yeah.
Like that is not Jason that is sorry. That is not Jaylen Brown type of money. He's
And
like a 30, 35 to me.
I think it's more than that. I think here's the question: is if you were to go through the NBA, and we could do this as like a bonus episode, and maybe we'll do that tonight when we get done, like a post show. It would be really hard to get to a team where Jaylen Brown is not the best player on that team. Like, I want you to do it in your head. Like, think about it, because
I thought of 5 immediately.
I did too.
you're gonna think of like the Dallas Mavericks, like the teams with certified superstars. Yeah, I don't necessarily know if Jaylen Brown is a superstar. I think he's damn close. And the question then is, if he was on a team where he was the number one option, would he take that leap? We can talk about the playoffs and how Boston disappeared, but like that doesn't really say anything about Jaylen Brown as a
So
player.
I think your question is kind of misleading in a way, because would his scoring production go up? Yes. Would Jaylen Brown prove to be a superstar caliber player? I'm not sure. That's another question altogether. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to put him on the Knicks and he's going to turn into James Harden is the most recent example I can think of. Is that what you're saying?
So here's the thing: Jaylen Brown at least pretends to play defense. I would even say he does a little bit more than pretends to play defense, but that's just me. So on top of the offensive production, you're getting a superstar that wants to play two-way basketball. I'm not saying he's going to be the best player in the league or anything like that. I'm just saying 5 teams off the top of your head, sure. I'd be hard pressed to find 10 teams that he wouldn't be the best player on. And as we all know, my criteria for what makes a superstar top 10.
I think there's 10 teams.
10 teams.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
we'll
do.
do that for a bonus episode tonight.
I mean, my thing is so that's we'll say 6 teams. That means 20% of the teams have someone better than him. Why is he the most paid player? And I know a lot of it just comes to there's always going to be
new
someone.
TV deal too.
Well, yeah, but
He's
there's
also
always
a
going to
lot
be
more money.
someone topping the largest contract in history. That's just this year. Next year, like we said, 307, 310,
I mean,
320. It's just going to keep going up and up.
but
Yeah.
okay. So the question then, and this isn't necessarily a question. It's not like this is Timothy Mozgov or
No, well, we're not saying it is.
like that. I think that as we start to see these contracts, because contracts are going to just continue going up and up and up. That's what they do every year. 3 years down the line, this might look like a really, really good contract, especially if he continues the production. Like Jaylen Brown, he's only 26. It's not like he's out of his prime just yet. Like there are plenty of players that take it up another notch late into their 20s. And the part of his game that is the most crucial to him as a star, in my opinion at least, is his defense, and that's not going to go anywhere.
So let me take this a different direction. Ignoring the fact that you don't pass up the $300 million, do you think then the best decision for Jalen's future and maybe his eventual standings all time would be to go to a different team?
I don't know, because there's always people like you that care more about the rings than the individual accolades. So
But he's not going to be the number one option on those rings.
But it
No,
doesn't matter.
that's
A ring, a
that
ring's a
that
ring.
does
A ring's a
matter.
ring. A
That
ring's
is,
a ring.
I have always brought that up.
I don't know. I said all along that I would keep Jaylen Brown. So I guess it would be weird for me to go back on that. I do just feel like this is a lot of money, even though we should have expected it.
Right, and if you're Jaylen Brown, you don't pass up the $300 million.
Right.
We get that.
Absolutely
Even though like immediately after signing it, he started going on this tangent about income inequality in Boston. It's like, dude, you just signed a $304 million contract. Like, pump the brakes, homie.
So ignoring the fact that we might be giving Boston, increase the salary cap as their Christmas wish list every year, do you believe that with these two, Boston can eventually make another NBA Finals run and
Oh, absolutely.
ultimately secure a champion? Yeah, okay.
A run for sure. A championship, that's hard to say because only like 1 out of 30 teams actually can win it every year. So it's hard to say that they will for sure win it, but 100% they'll be a contender for the foreseeable future. Those two are too good.
Yeah, I agree with that, sure.
Second piece of basketball news, and hopefully this one we should spend less time on. LeBron James, the son, suffered cardiac arrest during practice. Everything seems good now. He's stable. Knocking on wood because a lot can happen between when this episode is recorded and when it comes out, but it seems like he's out of the woods. This did lead me to doing some of my own individual research. I'm not like a doctor or anything, but supposedly this is far more common in college basketball than I thought. Like, apparently, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, but the percentage of players that suffer cardiac arrest in college basketball, let's just say it's greater than 0. I'm not going to give you an exact number, but seriously, go look it up. It's strange compared to other sports, the frequency. But I don't really think we have much to say on that. I just wanted to touch on it. LeBron so far hasn't said anything, which I don't think he should.
Yeah, I think just let Bronny be Bronny. Like leave that to him. Let him start to establish himself. But do you think? I mean, maybe if you say it's as common as if I can't speak today, y'all. If you say it's more common than what people believe, do you think this will have an impact on his draft capital?
I don't know. I think it'll depend on because I'm sure he's going to go through the rigor of like different forms of medical testing, and if it's just a freak one-off thing, I think NBA teams and scouts do trust medical science. And if it's just something where, this was a freak accident, I don't think it should impact his stock too much.
Okay.
Now, if something comes back like he's got some kind of, God forbid, degenerative condition or something like that,
Yeah.
obviously his health comes before basketball.
Yeah.
So like I think at that point his stock would be the least of anyone's concern.
That's fair.
Oh, yeah. Do you have anything to add on the Bronny situation, Angelo?
I don't. It's just sad.
Just keep hearing him unmuting his mic. So let's go ahead and get into our lists. I think, and you guys can let me know if you agree or disagree. This was the toughest one so far, which is weird. I thought this one was going to be the easiest one. I think this is going to have the most variability of any of our lists because I think there were a lot more intangibles that I personally took into account on my list. And so I think I've got a couple people in my bottom 5 that you guys are going to have way higher. And the vice versa. I think I've got at least one player in my top 4 that I don't know if you guys will have that high.
It felt weird. Shooting guard was kind of quiet this year, but they all dropped some serious numbers.
No, for sure. But like that was the thing is like when you were looking at their box score, like it was amazing, right? And
Yeah.
then you got to their advanced stats, and I think the highest guy on my list is like a 23, like
Yeah.
on PER. Like it's low. Um,
They just
but no,
got
they all
buckets and that's
yeah, they got buckets. Very inefficient buckets, but they got buckets.
it.
Um, so are we just gonna keep the same order that we've had?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna give a forewarning of my entire list, and I'm gonna try to explain it as I go because while I was writing this list and like going through and doing my eliminations, uh, I was very distracted, and so what I valued in each individual moment changed a little bit every time. And so for my number 10 spot, I took a guy who was very good on the box score and very good on the eye test, but compared to most of the other players on this list, his team didn't really perform that well. So at number 10, I got Zach Levine. And I'm waiting to hear if I hear one of you like make a noise. Neither of you do it. Okay. So it feels like that's not surprising. So he averaged 25 points, and it's weird to have number 10 average 25 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 4 assists. Shooting pretty decent. He shot 50% from the field, 37% from three. His PER was 19. But in this case, it was, and maybe this is going to bite me later, uh, it was a case that someone on this team was scoring. And yes, I did rank DeMar very highly. But I felt like DeMar earned that higher spot. It felt like Levine, compared to the rest of the guys on the list, didn't deserve to be ahead of those guys. Maybe it's because of his defense. I don't know. But I have him ranked at 10, and I don't really have much to say on it because he was just someone that went out and filled up the box score, and I'm not sure there was much more to it than that. Someone had to score. He was the primary ball handler. I think he just barely, no, he didn't. He actually played 77 games. I was going to say I think he just barely made the cut, but no, he actually
No, he played a lot.
he played almost a full season.
Yeah. I can already tell you no, I do not have Levine that low.
Yeah, I figured. He started at number 6 for me,
Mm-hmm.
but as I went through it, just really, actually, as I'm looking at it, there's only there's one guy for sure that doesn't or plays defense at the same level of quality of Zach Levine, and then there's two that kind of but they were so much better that I had to put them higher. So yeah,
That's
that
fair.
holds Levine back for me.
That's fair. He's not that much higher for me. I'm being honest.
He's a lot higher for me. Anyways,
It's fair.
so my number 10, I'll be honest, I tried my best not to use my future hopes for him, but I'm not gonna lie, they kind of
Okay, so do you remember like 5 seconds ago when I was saying that I use different metrics every time for like
Yes.
how I
Yeah.
rank? I definitely have players on my list that are like based on how well they did this season and how young they are. I did give them the benefit of like, hey, it's only up from here. So I get that.
Okay, maybe that's why my list is different.
Hmm,
Okay, so
That's
my number
fair.
10, I went with the Australian Josh Giddey.
He was my number 10 for a while.
Yeah, so I
Oh.
mean, he didn't have the points that the others around him would have. He did average 8 rebounds, 6 assists. And I mean, he shot pretty decent from the field and from three. Uh, I just, I think the world is going to go up for Giddy. I think Shea taking the next step really helped Giddy out.
Mm-hmm,
And I mean, the dude's only 20.
for sure.
Like, he's got a long way to go up. And that's kind of why I put him at 10. I don't think either of you probably have Giddy on your list.
So Giddy's probably my number 11 because, like I said, he was number 10. And then I forgot someone, and I
Mm-hmm.
had to move 2 players down.
Oh, Ren set himself up to take the L this week and then fixed it.
No, 100%. So my number 9. Once we get to number 9, I thought he played a different position, so I'll talk about that when I get to him. Even though
Oh, it's probably my number 9. Anyway, my number 10 is Josh Giddey. For a lot of the reasons Austin stated, but honestly, mine more or less is he might be the only one on the list for just about anyone that doesn't eclipse 20 points a game, but he also has some of the best secondary stats on anyone on this list as well. The rebounds being at 8, the assists being at 6, and you're right, he did have decent efficiency. So I debated it for so long, but I decided that Giddey probably does deserve the 10 spot.
So that was the one that was your soul searching earlier,
Yeah,
Josh Giddey.
because I wanted to put some of the people who average 21 points on there, but I was like, eh.
So and now's the time to say I don't have
Josh Giddey, yeah,
I don't have Josh Giddey on mine.
which is fine.
He was my number 10, and then I remembered about my number 9. And for a while, I thought my number 9 was a point guard because he was a point guard until this season.
He's probably the best point guard on the Hawks, right?
He is the best point guard. DeJounte Murray. I'm guessing you also have the same number 9. So DeJounte Murray averaged 21 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, 6 assists. Shooting okay, 46, 34, 83. PER there was a lot to be desired on the advanced side of the things. But for me, what put him above Levine and what put him into this top 10 was that defense. You're going to find a theme tonight. For me, at least, the offensive production was great from pretty much everyone on this list. The advanced stats, not so great. So I resorted a lot to the eye test on how they played off ball and how they played on the defensive side of the ball. Honestly, I would have been comfortable putting DeJounte Murray a little bit higher. I'm not sure how much higher. I'll have to look at my list while you guys are talking. But for me, having a two-way player at the shooting guard seems to be a recipe for success, especially because it seems like every player that plays this position is going to fill up the box score, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because so few of them actually play defense. But yeah, DeJounte Murray, number 9. Forgot he was a 2.
Yes, he was. See, This is how forgettable Trae Young is. Trae Young is so forgettable that Rehn thought DeJounte Murray was the point guard of the Hawks. I'm just saying. I am just saying.
That's not actually accurate.
It's accurate enough.
I just forgot he was there.
Mm-hmm.
So, my number 9, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I will say DeJounte Murray is not on my list.
Huh.
Wow.
He was my
Trae Young better be pretty high then on your point guard list.
11A with 11 B, C, and D, and E. I had a bunch of 11s. Anyways, my number 9 is another young kid in the Jalen Green.
Huh.
So,
I debate it.
Doesn't look the best. Win share doesn't look the best. This is where I also factored in his future capabilities. Went out and dropped 22, 4 rebounds, 4 assists.
Did you factor in the fact that he fist fought his teammate on the court?
Yeah, that shows grit and grind, man. He's a competitor.
Foreshadowing.
But I mean, Jalen Green, he's a solid player. I'm starting to think as soon as you just said foreshadowing that I forgot someone.
No.
This is going to be on runs higher. I get
it. That's related. No, I don't. I don't have Jalen Green on my list.
Not Jalen Green, but grit and grind. Anyway.
Oh yeah.
I'm confused now.
You are.
You'll get it. Just keep
going. You got it.
Keep it moving.
Okay. Jalen Green, young kid. Again, he's 21, so a little older than Giddey. I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be a borderline all-star. So go ahead,
that's
Angelo.
tough. That's tough. That's tough.
That's tough.
It's not that
indeed.
I disagree, it's that I disagree. Like, look,
It's not that
I like,
disagree.
I do like Green. I like Green a lot. I just really haven't seen anything like, I don't know. Keep going.
He's available at least.
Yeah, that's true.
So anyway, my number 9 is DeJounte Murray.
Yeah.
For me, because he was in the back end, he was part of the debate. For me, what got him is the defensive contributions. I actually didn't think he was going to get to 20 points a game on the Hawks with Trae Young there, but I was wrong. He did. 21 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 17 PER, which is it's good.
And that's definitely something worth bringing up, that even if you don't like Trae, and I know you don't like Trae, he has the keys to that franchise, correct? And he's going to have a high usage rate. And the fact that DeJounte was able to come out and get his.
I mean, sometimes you drive to the destination, sometimes you drive the truck off the cliff, you give the keys to someone regardless.
Anyway, foreshadowing, grit and grind. At number 8, I've got the future MVP, Desmond Bane. 21.5 points, 5 rebounds, 4.5 assists, 48, 41, and 89% from the field. I think I'm reading that right. I have it typed very small. 19.1 PER and a 5.8 win share. Look, here's the thing. There was so much drama around this franchise all season long. The one bright spot, besides Steven Adams, for me at least, was Desmond Bane's play. I think that he showed up every night, regardless of anything. Well, every night that he was available. He only played 58 games, but 58 is good. That does make our cut. And just head down, play ball. Like, that's what you ask from star players, right? So those secondary stars, like a Desmond Bane, why would you expect anything different? Defensively, there was a little bit to be desired, but it's hard to argue with 22 points a game, right? So, number 8, DMB, grit and grind.
Austin, you're number 8?
Yep. All right. So my number 8 is someone that, if he played more games, would be higher. But I'm going to put Bradley Beal at number 8.
That's interesting.
I mean, he barely made the cut via our games. He played 50, right?
Yeah, he literally played the minimum number of games that we needed.
Yeah. And that, I mean, in my other picks, I've taken availability into account. So 50 games.
Oh, does that mean someone's not in your top 3?
No, they're still there.
Okay.
You can't argue that one.
Even though he only played 2 more games?
Yeah.
Okay.
So 23.2, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 19.7 PER. I mean, he's a solid player. Just his games is why he's lower. If he played more, he'd probably be in my top 5, maybe top 4. So that's it.
You just need to average 4 more points a game.
Yeah.
Anyway, my number 8 is...
Hold on. There is... We'll get to it. Because I'm about to talk about him.
What?
Go on. Continue.
What?
Who's your number 8?
My number 8 is Zach LaVine. So it's for a lot of the reasons Rehn mentioned. He is the guy who had the ball in his hands. The Bulls are kind of to me. Yeah, they're mid. They're mid. They're not great. They're
Well,
not terrible. They're mid.
Though they were one play away from beating the future Eastern Conference champions in the play-in. Just throwing that out there.
But they didn't.
Because they're mid, like the Miami Heat.
So, anyway, yeah. Zach LaVine, 25 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 19 PR. It's honestly very good, and it's going to be a higher point total than a lot of guys on this list. But I agree with Rehn as far as defensive contributions. Zach LaVine isn't offensive really defensively, but he's not anything to write home about.
We don't even pretend that he's defensive.
Yeah, so that's what I got. Who's your number 7?
So I'm gonna call an audible here, and I'm gonna flip my 6 and 7, just because I don't want to forget about this. So my number 7 is now Bradley Beal. So the reasons you said are right, but I want to touch on why. Because Angelo was saying, "Oh, you just have to average 4 more points per game to be in the top 3." There's a difference, okay? 1, there's an age difference. 2, there's a contract difference. And that's really what played into it for me having him lower, because the production was there for Bradley Beal. You also have to remember he was playing for the Washington Wizards. We're talking about Zach LaVine having to be someone that goes out and get a bucket. Think about what Bradley Beal was doing for the Wizards. And I'm not knocking Bradley Beal. Like, I have been a career fan of Bradley Beal. But let's not pretend that what he was doing in Washington is comparable to the guy that's in the top 3 that you're alluding to. All right. So yeah, my number 7 is Bradley Beal. I literally moved him just so I don't forget, because I'm eating candy and I tend to forget things when I eat candy. So
wow.
Yeah, suck it, Angelo.
So I got Bradley Beal moved down a slot on his list. Let's go.
Matter. So the 2 players are so close together, and I think I'm gonna ruffle a lot of feathers if I had this guy at number 7, but that's where he deserves to be. So he's now.
Oh no! He's going after the internet darling. Oh no!
Internet darling.
Are we at number 7?
We're on number 7.
Is it my turn?
It's your turn.
Let me get him up. Hold on.
No.
So number 7, Anthony Edwards.
There's the internet darling.
Yep.
That's way lower than I've got him.
Huh?
Yep. I mean, I don't like Ant. I don't know what about him.
I have him this low. Why do you have him this low? I just don't like the look of him.
I mean, I left DeMar off the list last week. Can you really hate me?
Fair. That's fair.
I mean, he had 25 rounding up, 6 and 4.5 ish, right?
Ish.
17.4, but I'm gonna get yelled at for this, but
You are.
Minnesota's not great. I don't think Cat's amazing. Rudy is Rudy.
What?
I think he had to be the person. I think I just don't like the Timberwolves as an organization.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Man just singled out an entire fan base. Let's go.
You really did?
Gotta attack the internet darling and all of its followers. I mean, he only had a 17.4 PER. I have people efficiently wise that were better than him. He played a lot of games. I will give him that. Which is why he's above Bradley Beal.
So you're just
why he's above Bradley Beal.
Hold on. So you, Austin,
me,
the futures and potentials person.
Yes.
You have a 21-year-old all-star that just averaged 25 points per game. You've got them at 7?
Yes.
He's got them at 7.
Based on last year.
That's a big yikes.
I don't think... I don't know. I'm going to get in trouble for this, but I don't think Anthony Edwards is living up to the hype of a number 1.
What? What's DeAndre Ayton?
DeAndre
Definitely
Ayton?
Not.
Dirt?
Did you say better?
I said dirt.
Oh, okay.
Look, I'm not going to waste my breath on Anthony Edwards yet. I'm going to get to him when he's where he deserves to be.
Which is what, at 6?
Oh, no.
Oh, Anthony Edwards is in this man's top 3. I can almost guarantee it.
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Okay.
He's probably 4.
Okay.
Anyways,
Well, we're gonna get it eventually. Anyway, my number 7 is Desmond Bain.
All right.
Okay.
For a lot of the reasons Ren said, he averaged 22 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists on 19 PER. He was one of the bright spots for the Grizzlies for the longest time. I actually think at one point when we were talking, he was averaging close to 27 a game. Like, I think he took a very, very good step from the previous year to this year.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Huh?
Absolutely.
And I think the future looks bright for him. But honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't really take future into consideration for any of my lists.
I didn't on any of the previous ones. Like I said, I was
Yeah.
just very distracted while I was doing this one, and like
Oh,
I
so
kept
you're like, oh, it's between this guy and this guy. This guy has
yeah,
a
and
better
then
future.
I would debate different things like, oh, okay, these two players, this guy has a better future, this guy is better defensively, this guy I like his haircut more, whatever it took, really.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what Austin did.
Bradley Beal needs a different haircut, obviously.
Obviously.
All right,
So we're
number
on
6.
number 6. So you have to remember this is my actual number 7, but I did call an audible, so we'll call it number 6. My number 6 is
Say it.
James Edward Harden Jr. El Chapo, Jimbo Slice.
Does he not qualify for the point guards?
Yeah, I had him on my point guard list.
Yeah.
Where do you guys have Tyrese Maxey? Because Maxey shows up on my point guard list. Anyone?
I
Oh.
had
No, you have me questioning reality.
yeah.
Anyway, go on with James Harden.
I think Maxey would be the 2 here.
Well, Honey Bun is gonna be my 2. Because I'm
just going to call an audible and say Maxey and Harden are going to be ones for me on my next list. But go on.
Fine.
That's James Harden.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. If you're putting him on your point guard list, he's probably not making the top 10. So,
We'll see.
No. This is not Houston Rockets MVP James Harden. This is James Harden. Played 76 games. Do you know how many minutes he played? 22 per game.
Oh god.
Oh wait, no, wait, hold on. Wait, reading that backwards. 36 per game. He played 36 per game. 21 points per game. 21.
Yep.
On a very, very inefficient shooting. 44% from the field, 38% from 3, 86% from the line, and we all know how much he loves getting to the line. PER 21.6, win share 8.4. I think this was his highest assist season, but it's hard to, not get assists when you're tossing it to Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. Just overall, based on where his career was to the steady decline to where he is now, where he's doing everything he can. Look, if you don't want to be on a team, I'm fine with that. But if you're showing up to training camp in a fat suit, like, I don't have respect for you. No, that happened. That happened. There's no way that man put on that much weight and then lost it that quickly. There's no way. But not that long ago, James Harden was averaging 34 points a game. Averaging 21 now. So, and he still, you will never find someone making a 2K build where the focus is James Harden's defense. So, y'all can have James Harden on your point guard list. I'm just saying.
Ouch. That one hurt.
Yeah, it did.
So you're going to have Tyrese Maxey and James Harden on your point guard list?
I mean, I got to get Trae Young outside of the top 10 somehow.
Fair.
There's the plot. So I'm a little afraid that you guys haven't mentioned this guy for my number 6. and it could be because I completely whiffed, and if so, I'm putting James Harden here. But we're gonna go with Paul George.
Hmm.
Am I wrong? Is he like a 3-yard one, and I just completely screwed things up?
No, you're right. I'm just actively trying to figure out either who I forgot or what kind of like crazy play you're calling for your top 5.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm thinking. That's
Like,
kind
I'm
of
looking at my list and like,
yeah.
spoiler alert: Anthony Edwards is in my top 5, so he's gone.
Yep. And
Based
Paul
on
George.
this reaction,
In my top 5 are 2 people you've already mentioned.
what?
I just have them higher.
What? He has Desmond Bain in the top 5. Oh, okay. Go on. Austin.
Has Austin
It
already
is
done
Desmond
Levine?
Bain, though.
I know it's Desmond Bain.
No,
You
it's
didn't
not
have.
done Levine.
It's DeJounte. It's DeJounte and
It's not
Desmond
on my
Bain.
list.
DeJounte is not on the list. I know it's Desmond Bain.
So who do you have that I don't, Angelo? We'll get to it.
We'll get to it. Anyways, Paul George, I mean,
I think-
he didn't play a great amount of games. Still averaged 24, 6, and 5. 45 from through field, 37 from 3. I mean, he played solid. I mean, availability is the big problem. He hasn't played more than... I mean, this is most games he's played since 2019, 18-19.
Load management is rubbing off on him.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, quick side fact. Did you see that either the Clippers coach or the Clippers owner said that the Clippers are going to take the regular season more seriously?
That was the creepiest sounding laugh through the microphone I think I've ever heard. I want to hear that on the playback.
That is the greatest thing I think I've ever heard, honestly.
I
I'm
want to
sorry.
hear that on the playback.
Yeah, 100%. But Paul George is there. I don't know if he even made your lists.
Yeah, he
but-
absolutely did.
What?
Yeah. He
Okay.
absolutely did.
Okay, so he must be your 5s or 4s.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I plead the 5th. He is my 5.
Okay. Okay, I know your lists now. But yeah,
Yeah.
Paul George at 6. I'm sure you guys will go into more depth when he's at where he's too high.
Yeah.
So,
I'm really
Angelo,
interested
who's
in
your
his top 4.
My number 6 is Bradley Beal.
Okay.
He averaged. We've already talked about Beal. I believe twice already. Have we not?
Yes.
So I'm not going to add anything you guys haven't already said. I'm just going to say he averaged 24 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists on a 20 PER. I think that's worthy in the top 10, and I'm going to finish it at that.
Agreed. Top 8.
Top 8. Go on, Rehn.
So my number 5 is PG-13. We already established that. Really, you hit all the boxes. The only thing I would add is he is still not necessarily the same elite on-ball defender that he used to be, but he is still a top-tier defender, and probably, I would say he's a top 3 defender for the shooting guard position. Still, I'm trying to do it in my head.
I would agree with that.
There's only 2 guys I can say I would put above him.
Mm-hmm.
And he still can stretch the floor. And even at this point in his career, given the fact he's a little older now, he's getting to the end of his prime. He still has the playmaking touch, the defensive touch. The scoring touch isn't what it used to be, but what more could you ask for him to be the second banana to Mr. Load Management himself?
Availability.
I guess availability. If you wanted to be nitpicky, sure.
That's true.
But just in terms of ranking his abilities, I think 5 is a solid spot for him. Much better than 6.
It's not that much better than 6.
It's significantly better.
You'll see why my 5 is
Look,
5 and why
6,
PG is 6.
Look, 6 is top 10, 5 is top 5.
No.
You're not going to win this. Go ahead and give me your 5.
My 5 is your 10, Zach LaVine. I mean, comes down to availability. Levine played 21 more games than Paul George did. Averaged 1 more point than he did. Averaged a little less rebounds and a little less assists. But, who cares? He's the only one on the Bulls, like you said. He's got to
Right.
get the buckets.
So he averaged barely more while playing as the only. Well, I'm not going to say the only because I think DeMar is better than you give him credit for. Option.
Mm-hmm.
And
Still the only option.
there's not a world in which you can even pretend Zach LaVine holds a torch to Paul George defensively.
I mean, defensive win shares, he does.
Yeah, if we're just looking at advanced metrics, sure, but
Isn't that what we do, Ren?
That is what we do, Ren. That is what we do.
Zach LaVine had less usage, scored more points. Let's see, I'm looking for more metrics to blow up in Ren's face.
You see what you did, Ren? Do you see what you did?
I think the most impressive thing is I have finished this entire bag of candy and I haven't chewed into the microphone once. Angelo is shook.
Yeah, pretty much. I see what you did, Ren.
35.9.
I also didn't mute my mic one time.
Yes.
Highly recommend these.
So Zach LaVine deserves number 5. 21 more games. Defensive win share is better than Mr. Paul George.
We're over number 5. we moved along. Go on, Angelo. Give us your number 5.
Before I get to my number 5, what candy you got?
Twin Snakes.
Ooh, those are really good.
Not a sponsor.
Not a fan.
Not what?
I'm not a fan of your list so
You know
far.
what? I'm done. We're calling it. Austin, you get the L for this week. You get the L.
Just for that take. Just for that take.
Just for the take, and I can already tell where this. No, Austin is now the reigning, defending, undisputed holder of the L. He's got to.
We're putting Harden at the 2.
He's got it. Anyway, my number 5 is Anthony Edwards.
Overrated.
I can't with you right now.
See, you said your hot take was having Ann at 5.
I was. I didn't think you'd put him at like 7.
I agree with that. I can't say much, but I think I think 5 is even a little low for Ant.
Yeah, debatably, yeah, but not 7.
7.
Not
7. 7 is a hot take.
7 is a very hot take.
To the person
so I think we're gonna start a new segment or a new thing. Every week we're gonna give out the award for the casual take of the week, and that is Anthony Edwards at 7.
Well, no, not the casual take of the week, but we have a tradition here, Ren. We have the L award. We need to use it.
Award.
The award, yes. So every week we hand out the L. Sometimes it's going to go to you. Sometimes it's going to go to me. Sometimes it's going to go to Austin.
So far, Austin has the highest percentage of the L award.
He does. He actually does.
We gotta try harder since the inaugural event.
Have the lowest percentage of playoff guesses.
Technically, Ren is the inaugural holder.
We didn't have an award yet. It wasn't established.
Oh yeah, you are inaugural. No.
I will. So hold on. I will say we can name it after that, but there wasn't an award yet.
No,
the award did not exist.
It is yours. You are the catalyst.
The award or the Sabonis award?
Yeah, exactly. No. Sabonis is the catalyst for the award.
Talk me through Ant at 5.
He averaged 25.6 rebounds, 4 assists, 17 PER. He does actually have another offensive weapon on his team in Cat, even though he has -1 in Gobert. And He looks like one of the budding stars in the league. Everyone I watch talk about him, talks great things about him. He seems like a really stand-up guy,
So,
and he's very good.
So let's also not forget he, for part of the season, had another offensive weapon in D'Angelo Russell. Regardless of how you feel about the man, he was averaging, I don't have it in front of me, but probably pretty close to 20.
So here's my problem with you guys saying he has Cat as this offensive weapon. Cat only played 29 games.
Right, but
Edwards
touches
had
are touches.
He had 50 games without Cat.
But touches are touches.
What do you mean touches are touches?
Because of averages. If he played 29 games with Cat, right? That's 29 games where Karl Anthony Towns is getting a significant portion of the touches. Right? His usage rate during those games. It's not like, oh, he played 29 games, so we're going to give him 50% less touches. No, he's still going to get Karl Anthony Towns' level of touches. And that takes away from Anthony Edwards' production, right? So that's how statistics work. So you have to factor in the fact that there were 29 games where Anthony Edwards was not allowed to do, I don't want to say allowed, he wasn't able to do what he did later in the season when Karl Anthony Towns was injured. So by your logic, since Cat played 29 games, technically Ant's averages should be higher. If he was shooting the same amount of shots as he was shooting the rest of the season, I don't know. Casual take. Also, Naz Reid is on this team.
Should be higher, but they're not.
So I'm gonna move to my number 5, which is.
You already did your number 5.
Number 5. I'm gonna move to my number 4, which is Anthony Edwards. Really the same reasons Angelo said, and then what I just said. Look. Anthony Edwards, he averaged 25 points. How many players on this list, Austin? I want you to look at your list and tell me how many players on that list averaged 25 points?
4 others, and I have all 4 above Anthony Edwards.
4 others? Who am I missing?
Oh, no. You're missing Zach LaVine, Rehn.
Oh. No, LaVine was my 10. Oh, okay.
Averaged more than
okay, he's lower.
Yeah.
Oh, 4. So, is the game of basketball won or lost by points scored?
Not necessarily.
Is Anthony Edwards a better defender than Zach LaVine?
Not necessarily.
What?
No,
Angelo,
I have to give Ant it here.
Angelo, bring the scroll of the rules of the L Trophy out. Can you win it twice in 1 week?
We're testing this, huh?
Sure, Ant's a better defender.
It's not even like sure. It's yes. It is a definite yes. Anthony Edwards is a significantly better defender. So I don't. I'm so confused by the logic.
I'm impressed. This is
I'm impressed. That's Anthony Edwards, number 4. Tell me who your number 4 is. Is it Desmond Bane? You have Desmond Bane at number 4.
Desmond Bane.
Oh my god.
You all should have saw this coming.
You're probably right. You're probably right.
Desmond Bane is the best. Desmond Bane is the next up-and-coming superstar. No, I just love Desmond Bane. There's definitely a personal bias here. Only averaged 21.
You could have just finished that sentence without no, and we would have believed you.
I mean, he will be.
There we go.
No, he's future MVP.
Yeah, future MVP.
I mean, probably. No, never mind. Not gonna say that. Moving on.
What is there that you're not willing to say right now? I'm just curious now. Now I have to know. What is the one thing Other than Anthony Edwards is number 7,
don't wanna
Anthony
know.
Edwards is a worse defender than Zach LaVine or on par. What is the thing that you are afraid to say? Please.
You don't want to know.
I absolutely do.
I do. There's no way. There's no way.
I was gonna say he has a better chance at winning MVP than Wemby does.
Bring out the scroll.
Look, when Ja eventually gets kicked out of the league, this will be Desmond Bane's team. And Desmond Bane will take it to the next level. But
Angelo, give me your number 4.
Anyway, my number 4 is Paul George.
Oh, that's a good spot for him.
What's that?
That's a good spot for him.
I think it is too. I don't think his numbers quite crack the top 3, but I don't think with his defense and his contribution to the Clippers that it's really warranted to be lower. I think him and Anthony Edwards you can flip flop. I think you could debate that. Obviously, Ant has the better future considering where Paul George is now, but yeah, Paul George, great defender, 24 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists on a 20 PER. Can we please get back to normal and go into 3? Because I'm pretty sure Austin has to have the same people in the top 3 as us.
So this is what I've been waiting for, because I knew this list was going to be volatile. Like it was all over the place just when I was doing it myself. So I figured it would be the same for you. So I figured we'd be all over the place. I knew we would have the same 3. But as I've been looking at it, I think we're all going to have the same number 1.
Are we?
I'm interested to see. I think we are.
I don't think we will.
Oh, God!
Not because of me. Not because of me.
We're going to find out. So, but the thing is, I think any of these 3 guys, you could make an argument for number 1. I don't think there's a wrong answer here.
I agree with that.
I think the number 3 has... I'll get into why I think number 3 could be 1.
So number 3 for me is Jaylen Brown.
Okay.
So I think this a lot gets into our personal biases once we're down to this, because like I said, these 3 were so close together.
Yeah.
Look, what... let's just go over his stats first. So 27 points per game, 7 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 50, 30, 76 from the line, a 19 PER. So this is kind of what held me back from placing him higher. 27 per game is nice, but when your PER isn't even breaking 20, that's questionable. When you're shooting 33% from 3, I don't know. Like, that was tough for me. And then 76 from the charity stripe. That's really what held it back for me, because we know he's going to score. We know he's going to get rebounds. And we know he's going to play all NBA defense. But
he's in Austin's top 2. I'm convinced now.
He's what?
He's in Austin's top 2. I'm convinced now.
Get there.
Okay.
He's in Austin's top 2 because he likes his beard. So, yeah, I like everything about Jaylen Brown's game. I just felt the other 2 were more deserving, even though I would not be upset with Jaylen Brown being your number 1. I wouldn't even disagree with it. My personal biases put the next 2 above him.
That's fair. My number 3 is also Jaylen Brown for a lot of the reasons that you said. And I think the big argument that we have for Brown to potentially be number 1 would be the defensive side of the ball.
Agreed.
He's
hands down the top
better. Yeah. He's the best defender for shooting guards easily. Yeah, especially above 1 and 2. So Brown at 3 for me.
So anyway, my number 3 is Jaylen Brown. Yep. For all the reasons that you listed. Specifically, Ryan's 19 PER being the reason he didn't crack the top 2 for me. Not necessarily because I care about like advanced stats like that, but more because the 3-point shooting is really what got me, I guess. And that's probably what lowered his PER in the grand scheme of things. So, I mean, he's a deserving 3. I agree. You could argue for him to be 1 because of his defensive contributions, but I just have him at 3.
His defense, absolutely. Like, that's the one
Yeah.
way I was gonna argue. Like, when I debated putting him at 1, that was my argument. Was just not only it's not that he's just the best defensive shooting guard. It's the gap from him to number 2 is absolutely massive. It's just the efficiency really drug him down for me.
Mm-hmm.
My number 2 is Devin Booker.
Mm.
Okay.
So, look, 28 points a game, 4.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists, 50, 35, 85 from the charity stripe, 22 PER, a 6.0 win share. Look, what is there to not like about Devin Booker's game? Like, you could say the defense, but again, as we've covered, the shooting guard position is not exactly known for defense.
Mm-hmm.
He played on a very talented Suns team where he didn't necessarily have the ball in his hands the whole time, and he still came out and averaged 28. I know Austin's going to mention availability. He did only play 53 games.
Correct.
But they were 53 very meaningful games. And I didn't factor the playoffs into a lot of it, but in the playoffs he did average 33 points. I think that does say a lot. There was another player I wanted to bring up the playoff performance of. I want to say it was Desmond Bain, and I feel like I forgot to bring it up. And 23. Who was it? I'll figure out. DeJounte Murray. It was DeJounte Murray. I feel like that was something that should have been highlighted, and I forgot. So I'm just gonna go really quick and just, since Angelo only cares about playoffs, never mind. It wasn't DeJounte Murray. I'll remember who it
Oh,
is
was
later.
Okay. You do that. My number
Anthony
2.
Edwards. He averaged 33. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, wow. That might have put him to 6 for me.
Oh,
My number 2 is D-Book. Looking
wow.
at him versus my number 1,
Huh.
the number 1 edged him out in almost every stat.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Efficiency, PER, win share. I mean, rebounds are kind of a wash. Points. So, I mean, and availability, like Rehn said, 53 versus, I think it was like 68 or 70 games
Mm-hmm.
is a big difference. And like Rehn said, Book is on a great Suns team with the legend Chris Paul.
Uh-huh.
I had to get him in there. Kevin Durant. I'm not going to mention the center. So I think he's on a very good team, and him still dropping 28 points is still respectable, but not number 1 worthy.
Right.
Angelo, who's your 2?
So anyway, my number 2 is Devin Booker.
I told you. What the hell?
Um, I kind of expected one or if not both of you to put him in your
Absolutely not.
number 1, I guess.
If we were focusing on, if we had talked in playoff appearance or playoff performance was part of our list, like a concrete, he would be 1.
So I'm gonna be honest. Devin Booker I never considered him for 1. I considered Jaylen Brown for 1, and I considered this guy for 1. I don't know why I didn't think Devin Booker at 1. I think it's because he was on the best team of the 3.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. So you guys have already talked about D-Book enough. There's really nothing I can add to D-Book, I guess. Other than, once again, he's a great player and he's more than deserving to be in the top 3 or, well, he's number 2 shooting guards in the league for last season. And he's actually playing with someone else on this list, so our list next year will be interesting.
So, Rehn, do you want to let Angelo go first this time?
No, it's all good. We all have the same number 1.
We do all have the same number 1. But I figured
I
since it's a
really hope
hometown
so.
pick.
Because if we don't have the same number one, someone forgot someone. No, you can go first, Angela.
It's Donovan Mitchell.
Of course.
Oh no.
Wait, what?
What?
What is he knowing?
I don't know.
What's today's date?
The 27th.
Reggie. Okay, we'll get to it when we get to it. Anyway, Donovan Mitchell averaged 28.
Foreshadowing.
Huh?
Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing. Donovan Mitchell averaged 28 points a game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists on a 23 PER. You are correct. He did do just about everything slightly better than Devin Booker, other than obviously the rebounds and the assists.
I would say his
And
shooting was significantly better.
his shooting was significantly better. And you're right, he led a Cavs team that going into the season, I think people expected playoffs, but I'm not sure if people expected the Cavs to perform as well as they did outside of people in Cleveland, which, hi, I'm one of them. And I just think, Devin Booker's more than deserving of the number one spot.
Donovan Mitchell.
Or Donovan Mitchell. Oh my God.
So
We
for
just got to
me-
talk about Devin Booker.
So for me, like I
It's still
said,
in my head. It's still in my
I never considered Devin Booker for number one because Donovan Mitchell and Devin Booker were so similar that if it wasn't going to be one of them, it was Jaylen Brown. And what separated them for me was the shooting. I just think that Donovan shot the ball significantly better. And this is really where my personal bias has come into play because for me, I had two teams that if we were to do a tier list of which teams were must-watch TV for Rehn, the Cavs were up there with the Sacramento Kings. They were just fun. They were an enjoyable team to watch, and most of that stemmed from Evan Mobley and Donovan Mitchell. Like Darius Garland's nice, Jared Allen's always fun to watch, but Donovan Mitchell was electric on the floor. And I think that there is a bit of a bias to that. I am surprised, but not surprised that we had the same top three, honestly.
No, me neither.
I'm not surprised. Not surprised at all.
I don't know. For me, Donovan, I mean, I'm going to go off on a little tangent. Do you think the trade was worth it for the Cavs?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
What about the Jazz?
I mean, it's so far worked out for them.
Yeah. I think the trade the Jazz are writing home about is the freaking Gobert trade, not the Donovan Mitchell trade. But
I think that it's one of those trades that worked out for both teams.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the Cavs as a whole are going to be very scary in the next few years.
And they're still so young.
Yeah.
So, well, what you guys happy with your lists?
I am.
Confident in them?
I am.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess y'all will have James Harden on your list next week, and I will not.
Yep.
So before we get out of here, do we want to announce or tease what's coming up, Angelo?
You can announce it.
All right. So
announcing
I don't know what the date is going to be of the release. That's something that we'll talk about next week. We've still got to work out some details.
Yeah.
So, No Reserves as a brand is growing. That's our plan, to consistently be growing.
It is.
And we are fans of sports in general, some more than others. Each of us has different levels of interest in different sports. So starting here soon, we will be launching our first spin-off series. It will also be a weekly episode. It's going to be related to the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
It will start, correct me if I'm wrong, before the season.
It will 100% start before the season, and there's even an off chance because Mr. Ostipants can't communicate well. There's even an off chance that you might see an episode before, or not before, just after this one it releases.
Oh.
Off chance.
So
not sure yet. Thanks, Austin. But there's an off.
For long-time listeners, I will be participating lightly in this. Football's not exactly my sport. I will pop in occasionally to moderate, as you will, and the things that I am confident talking about, I'll talk about. So this is going to be the first major project we do that I will not be fully involved in.
Hallelujah! We can have some fun.
This will be fun.
I will be. I mean, you're still going to follow the rules. I
No
will pull the
rules.
plug.
I have a
I
feeling
will.
Rehn just has a small compartment in his house that just says "no rules."
Yeah, no,
And-
100%.
Yeah.
I will pull the plug on this thing so quickly. So the host, if you're not following along at home because you're like me and don't pay attention when things are being told to you. So Angelo will be hosting this new episode or this new spinoff. Austin will continue to be his co-host on it, and then there's a third person named Alex. For full disclosure, before you I'm hoping you listen to this episode at this point before you've ever gone to click on one of the No Reserves football posts. I do not know Alex. I've never met Alex. I've never had a conversation with Alex. He does not speak for the brand.
He does not speak for the brand, this guy.
But Angelo will be headlining this. If you hear me on there, I'm just there for the fact that I had nothing else to do and they were going to record. So I jumped in and
I doubt that happens because Alex lives in a spoiler alert. Alex is foreign. He lives in a country and that he cannot be on as late as we get on to record sometimes, and that's
weird.
why I'm
very
concerned about Austin as well. That's why. So
you should just do it on the weekends. So yeah, that's coming up. Keep an eye on for that. It will be posted on the same RSS feed, correct?
Oh, 100% correct.
Okay. So if you are interested in that, you at home will not have to do anything. Just keep those notifications turned on because there's a tertiary idea of when this is all going to happen. Like it's not going to be released on the same day because football's on Sunday. So why would we release a football episode on Sunday, right?
Right.
So we're going to figure that out. But if you keep your notifications turned on, you will get it. I don't know how much we're going to talk about it before that. Like Angelo said, we might have an episode up this week. And keep an eye out for other future spinoffs because we might be doing more. There's more we've considered. We couldn't do baseball because Cameron's not available enough. I refuse to do wrestling.
Adam wants to do it. He says, "Sign me up, coach."
That's
Up.
great. That's great.
Sign him up, coach.
No, it's not happening.
Sign him up, coach.
If we're doing fake things, I would rather do like books or movies or something.
Sign him up. I'm sure he'd sign up for that too.
So yeah, keep an eye out, keep an ear out. Make sure you are subscribed for notifications because you will get the notification the moment that episode drops. The time will still be the same. It'll be 6 a.m., correct?
Yep.
So these questions I'm asking are not because I know the answer. It's because I actually don't know because I have not fully been involved in this.
Yep.
I just gave the sign off that I was okay with it.
Yep.
So yeah, if you are interested in football, honestly, Angelo and Austin are much more knowledgeable about football. So like I actually think this will be a very personal bias aside, I think this is going to be a very good thing for the brand. If you are into football, I think you will really enjoy this. I think they're both very knowledgeable people. Again, I don't know Alex, so I'm not going to speak for him.
Alex is closer to you than anyone else in this.
Okay, so you'll get a different experience, but if you're a fan of football, definitely tune in. Give it a shot. If you don't like it, come back next week. Maybe the first episode wasn't that great, and give them a chance to fix it because it's going to be a learning experience. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but I talk a lot, and I think that they're gonna be in for a little awakening about how much.
We'll see about that, buddy. We'll see about that one, buddy. We're gonna have so much fun. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Keep an eye out for that. Outside of that, Twitch streams still incoming. Haven't really solidified that. We have a short list of what we want to do, but that is coming.
We want to get it out before 2K24. That's for sure.
For sure.
But other than that,
Besides that, follow us on social media. Hey, if you follow us on social media, I'm just going to tell you now. Last week, we had a bit of a snafu when it came to releasing the episode. There were some problems that came up. I don't know if we made a comment on it on social media, but going forward, if there are any things, we will be pushing that out on social media. So even if you're not following us, if it's Sunday at 9 a.m. and you normally listen to us on Sunday at 9 a.m. and you don't see an episode, just go check in on the Twitter, even if you don't follow it, because we post updates on that about why. Because I did have a few people asking where that episode was, and unfortunately we ran into some technical difficulties at the 11th hour, and we weren't able to fix it because unfortunately Angelo has everything on his computer, and
yep,
there was just some issues. But we got it all taken care of. But follow us on social media, and you will know about that in advance. Outside of that, do you guys have anything else to add tonight?
No, not really. I'll give you the bad news after we go off here.
Bad news. Okay. Hey, thanks for listening. We will see you all next week when hopefully we all still have a job, and you might hear from Angelo and Austin before that.
Probably Angelo before Austin.
Definitely Angelo before Austin.
There you go.
Have a good night, everybody.